What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Alex de Silva podcast. We hope you are well and having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening. Now, let's get on with the show with your host, Alex de Silva.
What's going on, everyone? I hope you are well. Welcome to another episode. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope life is good. And can you believe it? 2023 is done. 2023 is done. And how has it been for you? How has 2023 been for you? This episode is about recapping, as you've been listening through the journey, and not just mine, other people's journeys as well, who have been going through this cauda equina syndrome, been surviving and thriving and struggling, and it's been really, really powerful. It's been very powerful. That's one way to describe it. I wanted to recap because I had my surgery on the 25th of September. And we are now coming up to the 25th of December. And this is kind of 3 months. And I wanted to recap, it's the first quarter, as they say. It's the first quarter of, going through this. And started out post-surgery, paralyzed. Everything was numb below the waist, apart from my quads. So I can kind of bring my knees up, but everything was like jelly. Nothing was working. And since then, I've been learning to walk again. Everything is, I've been waking up. My left foot is still dropped, but there are twinges, which is good. So the nerve is activated, and it's getting stronger and stronger, which is amazing. But today, as I lie here, in my bed doing this podcast, there is a reason. I tweaked my back today. No reason whatsoever. I bent forward just to put my pants on, and a muscle in my back tweaked. So I'm just lying flat on my bed because that's the most comfortable place for me. I did call the doctors just to make sure, because I've never experienced this before, so I don't know whether, typically, if I this is not unusual for me, kind of just tweaking the muscle on my back. This is something that has happened to me over the years, but obviously post-surgery is something that I have to be a little bit more mindful of, and just to be a little bit more careful. Had a good extensive conversation with the doctor, and he said, look, from what you're describing, it just seems like, just muscle. So he's prescribed some painkillers, which I'll take, and I'm just going to rest, for a little while. Just keep moving lightly, stretching, and I'm just going to try and massage, the muscles lightly. Now, here is a good thing about this. It means that there is muscle growth. That's really positive. It means that there's muscle growth, and it means that the muscles are growing, and things are activating, which is huge. And it's not pleasant, don't get me wrong, because not only am I still learning to walk again, although I'm on crutches, I have new splints, which are now just down to my ankle, so they wrap around my ankle, and which means I can wear different shoes now. I can wear shoes with laces, I can wear trainers, which is quite cool. So it's nice. It's huge progression. My right foot has kind of woken up. So the muscles are strengthening. I'm able to move my foot up and down, not to the lengths and strengths that I used to before, but my toes are moving backwards and forwards. I'm able to move my foot, from side to side, and I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger every single day. Yesterday, I like to challenge myself, and I like to challenge myself safely. So every now and then, when there's an opportunity for me to try and walk unassisted, I will do so. I've been taking a few steps with the new splints because they're not supporting up to my knee. So the ones that I was wearing before, they came up my shin. So they were keeping my legs back because I was hyperextending my knees and I didn't really have, or I was bending my knees. I wasn't able to bend my knees properly. So when I was first walking, my knees were still bent, and these splints kind of pushed my knees back, but not to the point where I was hyperextending. It was just, the natural way that we walk. So just with relaxed knees. And whilst I was wearing those splints, I actually walked from my living room door all the way across my living room, which was huge. The kids were cheering and my wife was cheering and we were all laughing. And it was really cool because I've never walked that far unassisted before. So that was really cool. So having then spoken to my physio, she then bought me or got me the new splints, which are lower, and I've been getting used to them. So I got them on Monday and it's now Thursday. So I've been wearing them for 4 days, and I've just been getting used to them, but they are so much better. I went out yesterday and just walking around, even my wife said, she said, God, you can see the freedom in your walk. You just look like you're walking normally. And I fed back and said, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because the other splints, because they came up my shin, they were very restrictive. And as you know, walking down a street, walking on pavements, walking on and off pavements, walking up and down the stairs, you're changing levels all the time. And these splints, because they were insole splints, they went under my soles. They were really rigid anyway because my feet had no movement, but also they went up my shin. So basically, I was just walking like a stick. Really, I had no real flexibility in movement, especially if the ground was uneven. And I was able to kind of walking downstairs. I was able to walk up steps, with ease. Just felt quite normal because my legs are building a lot of strength, both my quads and as well as my glutes and my hamstrings. My calves are building slowly. There is some movement on my right calf, but not as much. So, there's huge improvements in 3 months, from being paralyzed to all of a sudden, being able to walk. And I also took some steps bare feet. I only took three because I was close to the bed. But my wife and I were really geeked out. We're like, "Oh my God, you did it! That was so cool!" So we were kind of laughing, and it's nice to be able to celebrate these things because I've never been through this before. This is not something that's I've kind of grown up with, or something that I've been through before. It's actually been it's a completely new experience. So for me, as much as it is hard, I'm trying to see the positive in everything, and I'll explain why. Because by being able to see the positive in things and take it however you want from this, whether you're going through your own CES journey or whether you are struggling with mental health, whether you're struggling with addiction, whether you're struggling with, stress, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, when you're struggling with something that is mentally challenging, by finding a solution, because the brain will always find the problem, and it's our job to find a solution. So the problem I have is my feet are dropped, my right one is improving, um, and the muscles on the back of my legs basically all switched off. So my brain goes, okay, you're screwed because now you can't walk. my I then have to take over. I have to gain control and say to myself, okay, how do we get out of this? So this is that fight or flight system. It kicks in, it's the protection mode, and it tells me, okay, you're in a really bad situation right now. How are you going to get yourself out? Now, there are two ways. You flight or you fight. And I've always been a fighter. So I'm always going to fight. I'm going to fight something. I'm going to fight a way out of this, which is the solution. So I, my way around this has been let's find a solution. Why? Because it's so easy to go into stress, to go into depression, to go into anxiety, to go into victim mode, to go in, oh my God, am I ever like this morning? I bent forward I was sat on the toilet. I was done. I bent forward to go and pick my pants up. And I pulled my pants up to my knee. So then I get up and then I can kind of finish pulling them up. And my back went. So all of a sudden, I went, oh, for God's sake. My wife looked at me. She went, what? I said, oh, my back's just gone. She's like, oh no, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, just in pain. And I then managed to get myself up, which I was okay. I pulled my pants up and I went and sat down and started to figure out this situation. And I do this because if I go into victim mode, if I go into, oh my God, why does this keep happening to me? This is so annoying. And I start effing and blinding and cursing. I am saying these things to myself. I'm sending this message to my brain to reaffirm something's bad, something's wrong, and we need to go into hypertension. My muscles need to tense up even more. I need to protect that area. I need whatever needs to happen will happen. So I go into stress mode. The last thing I want is to do that. So what I do is I go into relaxation mode. I go into solution mode. I go into calm mode and I think about the situation. How do I sort this out? So I went and lay down on the sofa. I have this footstool. So I lay down on a footstool, pulled a few pillows on the sofa. So my lower back was flat on the footstool. I lifted my legs up and I was comfortable. Whilst I was comfortable, I started thinking, okay, what can I do now? Because my back is now flat. So as my back's flat, I can now go, okay, what can we do next? So I know that the first thing I need to do is find some medication. And thankfully, I've got some painkillers, which the doctor described when I left the hospital. I haven't been in any sort of pain, thank goodness, other than now. So I made use of what I had and I took some painkillers. And it's improved a little bit. It's not really done the job completely, but it's helped for sure. I'm able to kind of walk around and I sorted it out. So there is always a solution to any problem. It's how we deal with it. How you deal with that is going to be the outcome. And for me, the outcome is never going to be going into misery. It's never going to be going into suffering because it's only going to cause more of that. And that's something that I've learned continuously over the last 3 months. I don't have the luxury of sitting and mumbling and moaning and crying and being in self-pity, because the only way out of it in the end is going to be the solution. So why delay the solution by going through the whole pain and rigmarole of putting myself through, unnecessary pain, whether that's mentally, physically, whatever it may be, when actually I can sit, I can remain calm, I can figure out the solution and go for the solution. And I'll be honest, I'm only sharing this as I'm experiencing it. I haven't been through this before. Everything I'm experiencing is the first time. Previously, I would sit and suffer. I would sit in pain and I'll go, for Christ's sake or for fuck's sake, I'm in pain. This is such a fucking pain in the ass because, now I can't move. I can't train. I can't go to work. I can't do this. And if you're listening, this is how it would be. And I would go for days with this. I'd be stressed. I'd be anxious. I'd go into depression because I can't do the things, that I would be able to do. Pick up my kids, play with my children, be able to move around as I, would freely do. I'd have to wait, for ages. Now I realize and have learned from these situations, especially where I'm in such a vulnerable state, where my body isn't functioning the way it can. So me stressing myself out isn't going to help the situation. So let's not even go there. Me getting anxious isn't going to change anything. Me being stressed isn't going to change anything. Me getting into depression isn't going to change anything. It's not going to make things better. So the only way is to find a solution, and which is what I did. So that's the first thing. I took some painkillers. I found a comfortable position. I sat there. My son was able to jump on he sat on my stomach, which actually took the pressure off my back. So that was cool. He was almost kind of playing. He was playing Humpty Dumpty, so he kept sliding off onto the floor. So I was still able to kind of entertain, which was really nice. Um, and my daughter, bless her, she's so sweet. She's 5. My son's 2, my daughter's 5. When I sat up, because I had to dress my son, I was helping my wife. My wife had to go and do some Christmas shopping, and she was taking the kiddies out. And I was going to go, but obviously I can't now because I can't move. So I just helped out where I could. And my daughter was rubbing my back. She's like, "Right, Daddy, I'm gonna do some magic on your back. I'm gonna do some healing." So she was rubbing my back, and it is so nice because it helps. It really does help. It really does. It helps because I don't have to be stressed. It actually makes me feel even calmer and more grateful because my 5-year-old daughter has so much love for me that she just wants to help. And before I'd be, no, no, don't do it. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, okay, help daddy. And she does. And, and it makes her feel really helpful because she really is. She's amazing. And when you're listening to this one day, baby, you are amazing. And I'm so grateful for all the times you've helped me. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Like going through this experience has been so tough. And, it's making me feel a bit emotional, but it's so beautiful because my family have been here, my friends have been here, and I'm going to touch on a few things that have kind of upset me this week, but I also want to um, also touch on the fact that I do understand how tough this journey must be for other people. I always talk about the positives, and that's me. That's who I am, and I know that that's not everybody, but I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to stop being who I am to please other people. I've done that my whole life, and it actually impacted me, made me sick, made me go into depression, made me go into addiction, and I almost kind of, when I actually became worse, trying to please everybody else, and instead of actually looking after me. So I made a very conscious decision when I came into recovery, which was 7.5 years ago, to never do that again. I'm never going to change who I am. I'm always going to improve that, but I'm never going to change. I'm always going to improve, but I'm never going to change to suit everybody else. And one of the things, if you want to take something else away from this, don't ever change yourself to suit anybody else. If they don't like who you are, then that's on them. Because a lot of the times it's other people's problems. Other people put their problems on you, and and all of a sudden you then change and it makes you feel sick. So now here's the thing: if somebody's giving you advice, if somebody's being honest with you because some of the things you are doing is actually causing harm, then listen, because there is areas of improvement there. And if you can see the difference between the two, and you can actually make adjustments for yourself where you think, actually, do you know what you said makes sense. I know that these are areas that I can look at. I can take responsibility and accountability for these things, and I'm going to do that because it's going to improve me. And if you can do those things, if you can see the difference between somebody attacking you, somebody not taking accountability and responsibility for themselves, and actually putting their pain and their problems and their own traumas onto you, changing you instead of changing themselves. If you can tell the difference between that kind of behavior and someone giving you advice, somebody being very caring, very loving, and saying, listen, I think you should look at some of these things because it's going to help you. And it's obviously upsetting the other person as well. You will know the difference. If you can tell the difference, then keep those beautiful people around you, because those people who are honest and they hold you accountable and they're there to help you to grow, those people, surround yourself with them. The people that want to bring you down, or they bitch and moan about your positivity, and and they talk shit behind your back, get rid of those people, because those people bring nothing but problems. They bring nothing but pain and suffering into your life. And my suggestion is get rid of those people. And that's one of the things that I have done. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I had an experience this week with a cauda equina syndrome group. that I joined, and I dropped them a message um because they stopped posting my stuff, and I didn't see any of my posts. I saw other people's stuff, um and I was a little bit concerned because I don't post anything negative. I'm not trying to sell anything. I don't argue with anyone. The only things I post is I always try to post updates, of my own journey. And I also, posted the podcast, which, was welcomed. The first few episodes, there was so much positive feedback. Even when I was in hospital, I was posting my journey, and I had people messaging me privately. So I messaged the group admin and said, "Look, what's going on? Why have you stopped allowing my post to go through?" And they basically said, which again, I can only take the feedback from them. I don't know whether it's true or not. Um, my gut feeling is that doesn't seem very true, but they basically just said to me that um, some people had complained about my posts, um, because some people, obviously, their journeys have been very different. These people haven't had the journey that I've had. Although, to begin with, my journey was excruciating. I was in excruciating pain, and then I had surgery, and the surgery, thank God, was successful, and the pain disappeared. But this situation left me paralyzed. So I've had to learn to walk again. And I basically been sharing the journey of, just me learning to walk again, and just the things that I've been struggling with, and the positive things around it, and what I've been trying to do to, to help someone, hopefully. And like I said, 99% of people who have posted, who have replied, people who have messaged me privately, and there's been tons of people who have said, "Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's helped me so much. You've really given me, a boost of confidence, for me to keep doing what I'm doing." And it's been wonderful because I've never been through this. I'm not doing this for anybody else, to be honest. Like, I'm doing this for me. I basically just shared on that group because of just some hope that it could help someone. And it really was helping. So I messaged them and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, that's the last thing I want. If there is maybe one or two people who are really upset, please tell me who they are, because I'd love to make amends." And that's just part of my 12-step recovery process. That's just how I live my life. I would never want to cause harm to anybody. So I offered to make amends, and they pretty much ignored me. I said to them, "Look, it sounds really strange, that you're not even responding to me. And obviously, I'd like to make amends if that, if that's possible, or I can make some amends, and obviously, can you post it?" Nothing. They just completely ignored me, and none of my posts have gone through. So I can kind of comment on other people's things, but they haven't posted any of my stuff, um, which is really weird. I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to kind of speak my truth here. And I did say to them, what I find really strange is, one, you're not really responding to me, so we can find a solution. And two, how are you banning positive posts that are helping, tons of people? There are thousands of people in that group, and I've had God knows how many messages from people telling me how my posts helped them, and they've been really positive. So what I'm trying to kind of understand from them, their mentality as admins, is why are you blocking positive posts, and that have actually been helping people? Like, can you just give me an answer? Like, what's the solution here? What do you suggest? Nothing. There's been nothing. And so for me, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind that a group which should be there to help and support other people, have actually blocked me, have actually banned me. They don't allow any of my posts to go through. I can comment on other things, but they don't. What's the word I'm looking for? because they're admins, I guess they have to approve. That's the word I'm looking for. They have to approve my post to go through. They're not approving any of my posts. So I've actually stopped posting now because there's no point in me doing it. Um, but it just, yeah, it blows my mind. And I'm not going to kind of name and shame the group because, there are, there is obviously people in these groups, but it's just, I think it's sad, to be honest. I get other people's situations. And honestly, I always send, if I ever see anybody's situation, when people are struggling, I always comment positively, sending them loads of love, loads of healing, loads of, positivity. And no one has ever commented back and said, go fuck yourself, Mr. Positive, you're an arsehole. No one's ever said that. People have always even commented back and said, thank you so much. You're really kind. So again, it blows my mind how none of my posts have been approved. Yet when I'm still making positive comments on the group, even people who are really struggling, the feedback has always been positive from the person who's posted. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I think one of the things that I want to highlight, it's not, I don't want to keep banging on about the group, but just that kind of mentality for me doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me because if I was hating, I was being arrogant, I was being ignorant, I was swearing, I was causing issues, I get it. Kick me off the group. I would, yeah, I completely agree with that. But if I'm just sharing my own experience on something that I have never been through myself, I've never experienced this myself, um, it actually makes me feel quite rejected. That's the truth. It actually makes me feel quite rejected. And I've grown up being rejected. I've kind of worked through that stuff. So it doesn't really trigger me, but it's quite sad, that I'm trying to, I just wanted to share my experience and, a group that's supposed to be an open group, I thought, where we can share our experiences and help and inspire others. Um, it's yeah, it's quite mind-blowing, really. And again, I do sympathize, by the way, that some people are not having the same journey. I get that. I completely understand and I sympathize. But what do we do then? And this is where I'd love to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. Let me know your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. What do we then do then as a society? Do we block positivity out of everybody else's life? Or like what's the solution here? I understand about being mindful, but then do you stop being yourself to please everybody else? Or is it something that, we can all work together in understanding that, okay, well, actually, this person is just posting something positive. I understand that it's not my experience. And you know what? Can I take something from this? And obviously for me, can I tone it down a little bit? I'll be mindful about that. But again, I'm not kind of going, yay, look at me and fuck you. Like that's not the case. I'm not rubbing it in anybody's face. I'm just, again, and I've been so mindful of this, so mindful of it because there was just a bit of a gut feeling that I knew that possibly something like that was going to happen. There were times when I didn't even want to post, but then what do? You don't post. You just avoid doing it. Like what's the solution then? So what I tried to do is I was very mindful around what I was posting, very mindful. And I always tried to post things that were positive just to try and give people the guidance and information that can help you somewhere down the line. And, one of the things that, I can't help people, go through their own journeys. I can't do that. You have to do your journey yourself, and I've learned through me and I've learned through, reading books, doing research, trying things on myself that actually I can heal myself. And I've done that over the last 3 months. And I believe that I can. I believe that I can 110%. And I'm doing it every single day. Every single day I'm doing it. I'm getting stronger and stronger every single day. That's my belief. And I'm just trying to share my belief in hope that somebody who's really struggling, who's really going through it, can kind of go, do you know what? I've got nothing left here. What's the worst that can happen? let me fucking try what this guy's doing. Because surely he's doing something that's working. So let me try. That's all I'm trying to share. I'm trying to reach that person who's at the worst fucking possible journey, whether that's mental health, addiction, cauda equina syndrome. If you're struggling, you're in pain, you can heal yourself. You can heal yourself. And you can heal yourself by the things that I've talked about from the beginning of the podcast up until now. Everything, the solution, it's all about the solution. What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to get out of this? You know, you can stop yourself from being in pain. You can by going into your mind, by going into the pain, by doing breath work, by doing meditation, calming the mind, calming the body, calming the nerves. You can do that. Like I said this morning, I pulled my back. I'm lying down now. I'm not in pain. Sure, if I move, I'm going to be, but I can get myself in situations where that stops. I can get myself in a situation where I can concentrate, I can breathe into this, and eventually my pain will go. My pain will go. I will make it go. I've learned and I continue to learn and master my mind to do what I want it to do. I am my own medicine. I am my own pharmacy. And I'm learning. I'm not a guru by any means, but I've learned certain things that have proven to me that I can do anything with my body. And that's all I'm trying to share, and so, you can take it however you like. I'm not here to please anybody, but what I am here to do is find the person, whether that's one man, one woman, that's 100 of you, that's 1,000, that's 1,000,000, that's 1,000,000,000 of you who are looking for a solution, who are looking for a way out of your problem. And you are a solution-based person, but you don't know how to. This is what I'm about. I am about finding how to, how to, how to overcome cauda equina syndrome, how to learn to walk again, how to overcome this back pain problem, how to make my bladder and my bowel work again, how to. I command everything that I've done. I've commanded my bladder to go back to its perfect condition, to its perfect function. I commanded my bowels to do exactly the same. I commanded my hips, my legs, my feet to do exactly the same. I command it to go back to its perfect condition. I command it to wake up again. I command my nerves to grow, to work perfectly. I command my spine to go back to its perfect condition, to perfect health. I command that disc it was a medium degenerative disc to go back to its perfect health. I command my cauda equina nerve to go back to its perfect health. And it goes back to its perfect health. Over the 3 months, things are improving all the time. Like I said, my left foot is still waking up. But I command it every day, and every day something twitches. Every day something happens. As I'm talking to you, my left foot starts twitching. I talk about it and it happens. So this is what I'm sharing. I'm sharing things that I'm doing for myself. Nothing more, nothing less. I can't tell you things that I can't do. That's it. I'm just sharing what I can. And when something happens, like now it's twitching, I go, oh, thanks. That's awesome. And I'm so grateful for it. That's what I do, literally. I say thank you and I'm grateful. And I'll go and I either say it out loud, I'm going so grateful that I managed to, to go to the toilet. I actually managed to pass urine, and when sometimes I look down, sometimes I have to, I've had to use, the muscles to do it. Now I kind of use the muscles, and then, eventually when it just kind of runs by itself. Now it's getting to that point. Not even 3 months down the line, I look down, I go, oh my God, I'm weeing by myself. I don't have to strain. It's getting to the point where it's only towards the end, where it's kind of trickling and you just want to get the last bits out. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And I thank, I say thank you and I go, I'm so grateful. I'm so proud of you. So proud of my bladder. Never thought I'd be saying stuff like that. But it works because my mind, my brain, that's the most powerful thing that commands everything that happens to my body. I'm telling it what to do. And it does it. Same with the bowel. And when it works, and I do the same thing. When my feet works, I say the same thing. When I take those steps, I do the same thing. So when, and that's what I'm trying to share. I'm sharing these solutions with you, the person who's struggling in life. If you're struggling with your mental health, what do you want? When I struggled with mental health, I remember thinking to myself, I just want to be out of this. But what do you want to achieve? Like what? So, and I remember you hearing this voice and kind of going, okay, but how do you want to feel? I want to feel happy. Right now, I just want to feel happy because I was depressed. And the opposite of depression is happiness, is feeling happy. Because the vibration of depression is low. Fear, stress, depression, anxiety, these are low vibrational energies. I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to feel happy, which was, the opposite. I wanted to feel happy, just to have the energy, to get out of bed when I was feeling depressed, just the energy to be able to pull my pants on, just to have the energy, and feel happy to go and brush my teeth. Brushing my teeth made me feel good because my mouth didn't smell. And that then made me happy. And then I'd say to myself, oh, I want to go and have a shower. So I'd go and have a shower. And that made me feel happy. Do you see what I mean? There's a solution to everything. And then I go and get dressed. I put clean clothes on. And that made me feel happy. And I'm getting emotional because it makes me feel happy. So these are happy emotions because I remember what it felt like, feeling low like that, feeling depressed, not wanting to be here, having those really negative, dark thoughts, and then trying those things. So how do you want to feel? I want to feel happy. And that's how it started. Just started with me just wanting to feel happy. And I got out of depression. So I knew when I went back into it, I got myself out of it by doing the same thing. So the next thing, we'll go to get some breakfast. And then I'd go to work that day. And then I repeat the same process the next day. And then eventually I get myself to the gym. And that made me feel really happy because I love training. And I started to find a solution to that problem. So when I'm depressed, this is what's going to make me happy. I get out of bed, I put clothes on, I get out of bed, I go to the toilet, I do my do's, I brush my teeth, I get in the shower, I put clean clothes on, I go to work, I go to the gym, I eat healthy foods. These things will make me happy. Do you see the solution? And you know what? The biggest solution off the back of all of those things, all of these little actions, were gratitude. I was so grateful the fact that I did those things. And I started doing it every single day because I never wanted to go back there again. The last time I went into depression was over a decade ago. I think I had a small bout of it before I came into recovery, which was over 7.5 years ago. And I never, ever went back there again. Never felt depressed ever again because I started practicing gratitude. I started being happy. I started doing my happy routine. What's going to make me happy? And that's what I did. I just did my happy routine. Because if I felt depressed and I didn't want to feel depressed, I needed to do something that made me happy. What's that for you? If you're feeling depressed, through cauda equina, if you're feeling depressed because you're struggling with your mental health, if you're struggling with trauma, what's going to make you happy? What's your happy routine? What can you do that's going to make you happy for today? That's going to keep you here one more day. And then repeat that cycle and then add to it. And then add a gratitude. Be grateful at the end of that day. What are you grateful for at the end of that day? You did your happy routine. And then what are you grateful for at the end of the day? What's the 5, 10 things you can be grateful for? And honestly, repeat that every single day, and you will never be depressed again. And that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I do still today. And I've taken it up another notch because I'm having to learn to walk again. And I'm going through this challenge. But the routine hasn't changed. But I've rewired my brain to be grateful. And then when I'm stressed, when I'm anxious, I learn affirmations. I learn to take control and affirm things to myself. I affirm that I'm in control. Affirm that I'm here. I'm here. I'm present. I'm in the now. And if I needed to, I'll go into the happy routine. What's going to make me happy? What's going to give me strength? It doesn't have to be a happy routine. What's going to give you strength? What's going to give you courage? What's going to give you hope? What's that routine for you? Is it a happy routine? Is it a strength routine? Is it a courage routine? Is it a hope routine? What is it? Find that. That's your solution right there. That's the solution to that problem. That's the solution to depression. That's the solution to stress. That's the solution to anxiety. And once you have these solutions, you will never, ever, ever experience it again as long as you continue doing them. And here's the thing, it's on you. If you want to go back to your depression, that's on you because you know what the solution is. And it's on you because you control which way you go. Some people go, oh, you can't help yourself. That's a lie. Because if you can get yourself out of depression through your happy routine, you can stay out of it. Because if something presents itself that wants to bring you back down, well, you just say, no, what's going to make me happy right now? I might go for a walk. I might go and call someone. I might go and read a book. So you always have a solution to the problem. So whatever that might be for you, I hope that that helps you find that little solution for yourself, because when you can find your solution, here's another thing. When you can find your solution, what's going to work for you, you start to build self-confidence. And that brings you to another level. And when you can build self-confidence, you build self-respect, you build self-love, you build self-care, and you start to have self-love, self-care, self-respect, routines. Because it's not happy routines anymore. You've upgraded now. Now you're self-confident. So it's a self-confidence routine. And that comes with self-love, self-care, self-respect. So everything has to start from somewhere. Every solution starts from a problem. So problems are not really problems. They're a route to your solution. Problems aren't really problems. They're just routes to your solutions. So when you really think about that, let that sink in. A problem is just a route to that solution. And once you've figured out what that solution is for you, start with a happy solution. That's the first one. And that happy solution can work for everything. If you're annoyed, if you're stressed, if you're angry, if you're resentful, what's the happy solution? What's your happy solution? What's going to get you out of this? And then allow yourself to get to that. Okay, this is what's going to make me happy. Take a few deep breaths. Go and do a meditation. Say something nice about that person you're angry with. Forgive them straight away. Because holding anger, holding resentment isn't going to make you happy. So what's the happy solution? Forgive them, let go, move forward. Because you're never going to hurt that person. The energy you're holding on to only hurts you. listen to this. The energy you're holding on to you only hurts you. So remember to just forgive and let go, truly let go. Because when you do, you have nothing to hold on to. I have forgiven everything and everyone. I have nothing to hold on to. Nothing. Nothing to hold on to. I have nothing there's no anger, there's no resentment, nothing. Not towards anybody. Nothing, no family, no friends, not even that group. None of the admins. They're just doing their job. If I can add positivity through the comments, I'll do that instead. My negative mind, let me be honest, the negative thought popped in and just went, leave the group. And I was like, yeah, I can do. But my solution mind went, well, do you have to? Because if you see something, can you add value? Can you be of service then? Because the reason I do these things is just to be of service. That's it. I can keep this stuff to myself. I don't get paid to do any of this stuff. I don't get paid to share things online. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a man. I'm just a man going through a quarter equina journey, and I'm just sharing my information for free. I don't get paid for this stuff. I do these things because I love to. I love doing them. That's it. And it helps. It does help me. It's a beautiful thing to do. I've learned, you know, the power of kindness. And let me share this. And I hope somebody from the Beowulf team, from CrossFit Beowulf, I hope somebody hears this, because yesterday my wife's car broke down. And it happened before, and somebody from the gym came over, Baz came over, helped us out, got the car fixed. This was about 3 weeks ago, and then it broke down again. It turned out it was something to do with the starter motor. So the car obviously wasn't starting. It's winter now in the UK, so this is very typical. It happened to my car before a number of times, and you just kind of fix it. It's pretty easy fix. So my wife drove to the gym because the car started again. So she drove to the gym just to test it out. The gym is literally like 5 minutes walk, but she just wanted to see whether, it was drivable. And she turned the car right outside the gym and didn't turn on. But the guys at the gym um, got together and, and did everything that they could to get the car fixed. And honestly, this is the power of abundance. This is the power of gratitude. When you vibrate, when you get yourself to that level of gratitude and thanks and vibration, like we didn't have a car. Our car had broken down. All of a sudden, we had a choice of about 3 or 4 cars that we could choose from, because people have said, look, you can have my car. In the end, there was like 4 people that just offered their car to us. And then not just that, the guys at the gym all came together and fixed the car. So now we have our car as well. So how spoiled were we? And honestly, I cannot be more grateful to the guys at the gym, who have pulled their resources together, and friends came out. There was a guy who's a mechanic, mobile mechanic, came over to do a diagnostic on the car, and actually he just repaired it there and then. Honestly, like, there is no amount of words, there is no amount of money that can can say just how thankful I am, to Tom and Baz and everybody else. There were other people there who I don't know, who had just pulled together, and they were going to pull some funds together to help us to actually get the car fixed so we weren't stuck during Christmas. Honestly, like, you cannot write this stuff, but these things come when you're grateful, when you're thankful, when you're filled with love. And honestly, I love every single one of those people, every single one of them. You will never know. You will if you listen to this. You will if you listen to this. Just how grateful and thankful I am. Because gestures like that, they just, and it weren't done for me. It's my wife's car. It's nothing to do with me. But just the gratitude and just the thanks to those people who have come together, even our friends who come together and and offered their car and offered to help and offered to pick stuff up for us. Honestly, just absolute unconditional love, unconditional thanks, and just sending that energy right back to them. That these people are just filled with health, wealth, abundance, prosperity. And this is how life works. If you're struggling, if you're suffering, there is a solution right there in front of you. You've just got to look for it. And if you can find that solution, if you can't, start with that happiness one. Start with the happiness one. What's going to make you happy? Start with a happy solution. Whatever you are struggling with right now, what's that happy solution? If you can start with that and you can do that, you will find a solution to every single one of your problems, I promise you. You will find a solution to every single one of your problems, I promise you. Because there is a happy solution to every single problem on this planet. And I just want to touch on something, just to kind of finalize, just really sending a load of love and light to Lisa, Phil's wife. Phil was a patient who was in hospital with me whilst I was at Aidenbrooks. I was there for 5 weeks. Phil came in, he had brain surgery, he had seizure, and we were in a ward together for a few weeks, and we got very friendly. He was an older gentleman. His wife, Lisa, would always come in and speak to him. And, I got to meet his family, and, she got to meet mine. And obviously Phil and I, eventually, were always talking. He had very similar sense of humor to me. And yeah, when I left the hospital, I dropped him an email, and we sort of stayed in touch. But just through life and just recovering, I didn't really message as much as as I wanted to. And Lisa messaged me the other day, which was the 20th of December, telling me that Phil passed away. He died. He had a heart attack. In leaving the hospital, he wasn't well, and um, and there was some complications with him, unfortunately. And yeah, unfortunately, he passed. And it was heartbreaking to hear. They were married for 48, 49 years. They were married, and you can really see, and this is one of the things that I'm also learning, the reason I'm sharing this, and I'm sending all my love and all my light and condolences to Lisa and her family. As they're going to be going through this really tough time, and leading up to Christmas as well. I just want to send them all the happiness and all the love in the world. Um, but one of the things that I've learned from this, and the reason I'm sharing this experience is, you know, as you're listening to this, hug your family, send people you love, send people that you're not friendly with, find forgiveness, forgive people, move forward with things. Don't hold on to anger, resentment. These things will only cause you pain, will only cause you suffering. Let go of these things. Life is so precious. Life is so precious. We don't have a lot of time in this world. We don't, but we can find happiness. There is happiness in everything, in everything. And the one thing that will always bring you happiness is forgiveness. Really forgive people, because we're not here forever. We can come and go very quickly, very quickly. And if there is one thing that this experience is teaching me, is the how precious life is. how precious life is, how beautiful life is, and how important it is to be with people that we love, to channel everything that you are, to channel all the good things, to work through the tough things, to work through those challenges, because the more and more you do those things, the happier, the more fulfilled, the more enlightened you become. And as I said, proof's in the pudding. If you're struggling, what's the happy solution? What's going to make you happy? And don't wish something negative on the other person, not even as a joke, not even as a joke. Because when you find true happiness and you will wish true happiness in other people, that comes back to you tenfold. And it's the same if you wish something negative to other people. If you wish something negative on someone, that's going to come to you tenfold as well. Look at the car situation I've just explained. Look at how abundant that was. Look at how incredible that was. So beautiful. And look, I hope you take something away from today. It's so important that we experience life. If there are two things that are guaranteed in life, is that we birth, and that is one day we're gonna die. We're gonna go home. We're gonna come out of this experience. So the one thing that is never guaranteed is the middle bit. But that's the exciting part, which is the living part. Live to the best of your abilities, because one day we are all gonna go. And when you realize who you truly are, eventually you will go, actually, I'm looking forward to that day, but I don't want it to come just yet because I'm having fun. And I'm having fun in life. And I want to enjoy these moments as much as I possibly can, because I know that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow doesn't exist. It's only now. So enjoy these now moments to the best of your ability, because one day, for all of us, it will be over. Have an amazing day. Enjoy your life. And I will see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening. And if you want to find out more about how you can overcome issues caused by mental health, go to alexdasilva.co.uk. That's www.alexdasilva.co.uk. See you on the next one. Be great, be fantastic, and be absolutely phenomenal. Take care.